The views and opinions expressed by guests on this podcast are solely their own and do not represent the position of the host, this show, or any organization either party is affiliated with. All content is shared purely for educational and inspirational purposes. Nothing discussed here constitutes professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to independently verify any information before acting on it. The host is not responsible for any outcomes resulting from guest statements. By listening, you agree that you are solely responsible for how you use the information shared. Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I am joined by another very special guest, Mr. Sudip Bandyopadhyay, who is joining us from Bharat itself. If I talk about Sudip, then he is one of the well-known chartered accountant, investor, entrepreneur, fintech leader, and the group chairman of Inditrade Capital Limited. Throughout his journey, he has led major financial institutions, worked closely with some of Bharat's most influential business leaders. So in today's episode, we will explore leadership, investing, entrepreneurship, and practical financial advice for the next generation. But before we get started, I would like to thank Sudip for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for inviting me to join this session. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. Well, I'm a chartered accountant, as you mentioned, and also a cost accountant. Have been in the finance and financial services industry for more than 3 decades now. Yes, I have been working with large brands, both the Indian large companies, multinationals, as well as large entrepreneurs. And now I'm myself an entrepreneur. Have been working predominantly in the area of capital markets, financial services, treasury, fund management, and of course, multiple fintech ventures. Have kind of through my journey interacted with a lot of eminent personalities who have created a mark for themselves in this world, and very happy to be in a position to share that through you.
Thanks for joining, Sudip. And now, before we talk about your expertise and your advice, because those who are watching this episode, they know like what kind of insight they are going to get from this session. So before we talk on that area, I just wanted to know you as a person, because most of the people know you as a well-known chartered accountant, a treasury manager, the MD and CEO who once reported to Anil Ambani and other influential figure, and also now, of course, as the group chairman of the Inditrade Capital Limited. But if you had to introduce just as a person beyond those LinkedIn title, beyond those accolades, so how would you define, how would you introduce Sudeep as a person?
Well, somebody who really enjoys the work he is doing, somebody who enjoys traveling, reading, and spending time with family. That's what is me. I enjoy cricket. I enjoy football. I love watching both cricket and football. Have been going to the grounds to watch, and of course, right now I'm enjoying the World Cup football, which is being played all over the North American subcontinent.
Okay. So we can say that not only for the financial advice, if someone is planning for a good vacation trip, they can also reach out to Sudeep because he knows the
Absolutely.
traveling things as well. All right. Okay. So now we'll talk about some of the things that happens in your initial days, like looking back at your own journey when you were directly working with some of the influential figure like Mr. Ambani and other figures. So, how would you describe the overall experience working so closely with them, and what lesson you think you took away that's really stayed with you throughout your career since then? So, is there anything special that you still remember?
Well, I do definitely, and I think there is one unique thread which, at least I have noticed, which is common to all these successful leaders. They believe in delegation, and once they delegate, they don't interfere in the nitty gritties. I think that's very, very important. If you are delegating something to somebody who is your junior, who is reporting to you, and if you have confidence in them, of course, you need to have confidence in them, and if you have confidence in them, let them handle it. Absolutely complete freedom. And that's what I enjoyed, whether it's working with Mr. Deveshwar, who was the chairman of ITC Limited for a very, very long time. He changed the way ITC works, thinks, and does business. And also with Mr. Anil Ambani. I think both the places, if I really look back, I realize that in spite of there being levels between these gentlemen and me, they chose me to handle particular things, and they gave me complete freedom. And they just wanted to understand and know what has happened end of the day after
Hmm.
giving me that responsibility. So there was absolutely no interference from them or trying to micromanage things. I
Yeah.
think that's what empowers you. That's what makes you take the extra effort to deliver results. And I
Hmm.
think this is one trait which is common, I think, a bit, and the difference between a successful leader and somebody not so successful.
Right. And you know what? Like while I was doing some research about these persons, like I also found one interesting thing that they never put restriction and foundation on thinking big. Like even if you come up with something that you want to present and you want to show that yes, this is what we are planning as a team leader, so they will give you full confidence that yes, you have that courage, and if you really want to proceed with that zeal, go ahead and don't think within a limitation. They always encourage everyone to go beyond their limitation and think out of the box. So is it the same thing with Mr. Anil and Sneshwarji also?
Yes, I think to a great extent. And I think, I must admit that thinking big is
Hmm.
something which I realized and, learned really when I joined Reliance. I
Okay.
think, the ambition to do things in a much, much bigger way than what normal thinking would allow you to imagine is what I learned in Reliance. I can give you an example. When we were setting
Yeah.
up Reliance Money at those days, I think it was 2005, 6 and all. And we were talking about setting up 100 offices and trying to explain 100 offices will be rolled out, this, that, and all that. And look, 100 offices, 100 branches is quite big. I mean, if you look at it from a somebody starting a business. But I was asked, why not 1,000? Why not 10,000?
Okay.
Why aren't you thinking of 10,000 offices? So I
Hmm.
think that starts to kind of unshackle you and let you imagine in a much, much bigger scale. So the scale is something which definitely I learned when I came to Reliance. Uh, I don't think the scale I could have understood, or the thinking on scale I could have understood anywhere else better.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing that sets those leaders apart from other leaders because they know like how to deal with their team, how to provide them all the required necessity so that they can proceed with their plan, roadmaps, and to fulfill their business requirements. So I think that's the great learning for all the leaders as well. Let's say if someone is who is at the leading position, they can also think about like how they can give a freedom to some extent so that they can try some experiment, and if something is really better they can adopt in their business as well. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I just want to take one question, Sudeep, especially for those young executive like who really want to do something different in their journey. So, if you had to advise a young executive joining a high ambition, fast growing founded led company, something like Reliance ADEC in 2005, what's the one survival skill you would tell them to develop on their early phase so that they will survive for the better in their future? So, what piece of advice you would like to give?
I think there are two, three things I will tell you. One thing will be probably a little too constraining. One is you have to be hardworking.
Okay.
Second, you have to think smart. And third, you have to understand the way the organization wants to develop. And
Okay.
I think these three things you need to really, really be good at. You have to work hard. There's no two ways about it. You
Hmm.
have to think smartly and align yourself with the thinking of the organization. And I think that's the way to succeed. Of course, thinking smartly involves thinking out of the box, thinking of 5 steps ahead, planning things in a much better way. All this I'm covering in Thinking Smart. But hard work has no substitute. And Thinking Smart, which encompasses all this, has no substitute. And finally, you have to align yourself with the objectives of the group. That's also very, very important. You may be thinking of something, but if it's not aligned with the objectives of the group or the vision of the group, I think you will have a problem. So
Yes.
align your thinking with the vision and the roadmap which the group wants it to go, and work hard, work smart.
Okay. So I think these are some great advice that anyone can follow to implement the things properly in their business. As you mentioned, like you have to align your goals with the vision of the company for which you are contributing. In that way, like you can achieve the great thing. Here I want to take one more thing regarding the AI, because nowadays we all know that AI is a hot topic and everyone is talking about it. So do you think like it is going to change the next generation work philosophy also, like how you are looking at the AI, especially when we are working with the fast ambition based organization? So anything special?
Well, I don't think, Amit, AI is going to change fundamentally anything. What
Mm-hmm.
AI is going to do, AI is going to, make the routine tasks much easier to perform.
Yeah.
They are going to be, enable you speed up things. They will enable you to deliver things much faster. But fundamentally, nothing changes. End of the day, the thinking has to be done by you. That is the manager who is in charge. The hard work has to be done by the manager. The risk has to be taken by the manager. AI is a tool, and we have to use it as a tool very, very effectively. I think it speeds up, it enables you to deliver things faster, better. But AI cannot create things.
Yes.
The way we would envision. You want to create a $1 billion company. You want to create a unicorn. AI can't create that. AI can help you. AI can help you navigate the challenges, but they can't create a unicorn.
Okay. Yeah, I think with this explanation, you also break down those myth that is moving around the AI, that it is going to dumb down your jobs, right? But you explain it very well. Like it is there to help you. It is there to complete those tasks which is repetitive in nature, right? It is not going to replace anyhow in the human behavior, because at the end we need a human intelligence, not the tool. So yeah, if you have adopted it, the things would be much more easier for us. But yeah, if it is something like, if in the year 2026, if we are not adopting those skill set, we might face some challenges, because everyone is adopting it rapidly. But yeah, we can conclude that it is not going to replace human at all. It is there to help us. So I think this is a
Absolutely.
best explanation to break down those kind of myth. Okay, so now, Sudeep, we'll move to the next part of your journey, because after serving and contributing for the large tech giants, like you started your own company. So, like you left a 4 crore plus salary in your mid 50s to build something of your own. So I just want to know, like, is it the financial number or a milestone that made you feel safe enough to take that risk? Or what was your mentality at that time when you left and take this decision?
Well, I think it's something beyond that. At some point of time, one probably starts to feel that they can better contribute if they have all the decision making powers to themselves.
Okay.
Whenever you're working in an organization or working for an entity, you are to a great extent constrained by the limits set by the entity or the organization.
Yes.
The boundaries sometimes feels a little constraining.
Hmm.
And if you have confidence in yourself, if you believe that you can do something better, why not take the leap? And I think I had mentioned this on multiple occasions that salary is like an addiction. You
Yeah.
get addicted to that. So if you want to create something, if you want to do something independently, if you want to start your entrepreneurial journey, you have to forget the salary. You have to come off that addiction and take the plunge. It's extremely important to take the first step, which is quitting your job or leaving your fixed salary earning assignment and get into this uncertain world of entrepreneurship. So that's the big, big step. And believe me, for everybody, every individual, including me, that was a big step. But
Hmm.
once you have done that, you probably, in many cases, you start enjoying the entrepreneurial journey as well. Of course, I should never undermine the challenges which you will face.
Yeah.
And the challenges are numerous. Believe me, when you are under the shelter of an organization, and I have worked for large organization. I started my career with Levers. I worked with ITC. I worked with Reliance. I worked for a large global PE fund, New Silk Route. So the organization gives you a certain amount of comfort, certain amount of shelter. When that shelter is not there, when that comfort is not there, you are in an uncharted territory. You are on your own, and the challenges are huge. But at some level, you start enjoying those also. And then
Hmm.
after those challenges, when you can overcome those challenges and create something, that gives you a different level of satisfaction. Money is one part. Of course, money is
Yeah.
important. And believe me, today, even in a job, you can earn millions and millions as globally people are earning. And they are probably earning more than some entrepreneurs also. Most entrepreneurs, if you look at, large US companies, the CEOs or the CXOs are earning significantly higher amounts.
Hmm.
But running your own enterprise, doing your own thing has a different level of freedom and fun, I would say, attached to it. It has got its challenges and huge amount of challenges, but the fun is also of a different level. Money, of course, is different, and we have to look at these two differently. You can leave aside the money part of it and focus on the creativity part of it. What are you creating? What are you
Yes.
enjoying? What are you able to contribute? I think these two things needs to be looked at it separately. But it's a challenge. Undoubtedly, it's a challenge. And at some level, I believe for people who think they are competent, who think they can deliver,
Yeah.
it's worthwhile to take that challenge.
Okay. With the same scenario, I just want to take one question, and this is regarding the mentality or the kind of challenge that developers or young generation face. Because let's say if, someone is there who starts achieving something extraordinary compared to their peer group, their own circle, often like sometimes their own circle suddenly like slowing them down, right? Do not giving them the right opportunity or maybe the credit they actually deserve. So, as someone like who rose fast and stood out early, how should a person recognize that this is actually happening with them, and how to handle without losing their momentum because they want to do something extraordinary and they don't want to bound themselves within a certain limit. So, how to deal such situation without losing the momentum and becoming a better in the environment?
Well, I think the best thing is focus on your work.
Okay.
You have to leave out these distractions. There will be pulls and pushes. There will be distractions. There will be people trying to pull you down. There will be critics, and there will be a lot of negativity as well when you go in your journey. Whether you are in a job or in an entrepreneur role, I think that is bound to happen. We all live in a society, and human beings are human beings. There will be
Yes.
criticism. So you have to rise above that. You have to remain focused. As in Mahabharata, Arjun said, remember, you have to focus on the eye of the fish. When
Yes.
he was
Right.
trying to shoot at the fish. He was not looking at the fish and the periphery. He was focused on the eye of the fish. So you also have to remain completely focused on your goal and ignore the noise around you. There will be friends, there will be mentors, there will be people who will help you, and there will be detractors also.
Yes.
You have to realize that, and move on with your undiluted focus.
Yeah, I think you took a great example of Mahabharata because this is something that everyone can relate, especially those who are from Bharat. And I think this is the perfect roadmap for the entrepreneurs because here you will learn a lot of the things that really helps you to grow in your journey, right? Not only professional wise, but as a personal journey as well. So that's a great example. So here, I want to take one question again related to the Reliance journey of yours, because during that time I noticed that Reliance Money, Reliance Securities, and the AMP's seminar insurance deal all built in a span of about 5 years. So looking back at that process, was that the pace expansion healthy for the organization, or there was a cost to moving that fast that only become visible later? So how you are assassinating that thing in your journey?
Well, I think you're right. Uh, everything has its positives and negatives. So moving fast has many, many positives. I'll give you an example. AMP Sanmar was a transaction. AMP of Australia wanted to exit insurance business in India, and they wanted to sell. And even Sanmar of India, which was their partner, they also wanted to exit. There were many 7, 8 companies, existing established insurance companies who were bidding, and we also as Reliance, we went and bid for that.
Okay.
And finally, we won that, and we acquired AMP Sanmar, changed the name to Reliance Life Insurance, and then, of course, the journey of Reliance Life Insurance starts. Subsequently, Nippon came and took a majority control of Reliance Life Insurance, and that was at that time it was the largest FDI transaction which happened in India, and I think Prime Minister congratulated Mr. Anil Ambani on that transaction when it happened. So the AMP Sanmar was a transaction which had to be done. It had got certain timelines. As far as Reliance Money, Reliance Securities was concerned, the idea was there was an opportunity to grab market. And the sooner you do, the better it is. The sooner you can establish yourself, the better it is. And it's a competitive environment. I mean, of course, the environment today is much more competitive, but even then, there was ICI Securities was the big broker those days with a massive scale. And there were multiple other players, including Kotak Securities, Sher Khan, and others. But the opportunity was there that some company with a new concept, with a differentiated product offering, can definitely grab market share rapidly, and that is what we were there to prove. Now, if somebody, hindsight asks me, could we have done it better if we had executed over a 10-year period the same thing? The answer is probably yes. But what we created within that 4 or 5 years, I think, was fantastic. You created the largest broking company, largest financial distribution house within a period of 4 or 5 years from scratch. From starting with incorporating that company, hiring the second employee. First employee was me, second employee, and creating this entire organization within a span of 4 or 5 years was quite amazing. And I think it has its purpose. It has its utility, creating in such a short span of time. Yeah, given time, a lot of things could have been done better. A lot of things could have been more fine-tuned, but that's a trade-off you do. You want the speed, or you want to do it in a much, much slower pace. So it's a trade-off. I think the trade-off was good, and it worked for Reliance. It worked for us.
Okay. So Sudeep, like you have worked as an employee and you have led so many institutions and you have contributed a lot throughout your journey. And now you are also contributing as a chairman of Inditrade Capital, your own journey or own business. So I just want to ask you, let's say if there is a young developer, a young professional who wants to pursue their career. So is it good to start their career as an employee by joining some group or organization firstly, and then they should start their entrepreneurship journey, or you would suggest them to start from the initial itself? Like, I just want to know the process. Like, is it really helping those initial years in the entrepreneurship journey?
I do think so. And I will probably be having a different view compared to many others who
Okay.
encourage students to start with entrepreneurship from the universities or colleges or institutions. I think working in a large conglomerate, large organizations, or even small organizations, working in an organization initially for some years at least gives you a very good understanding of what works, what doesn't work, how things gets done. And I think it's a very good learning before you start your own entrepreneurship journey. That's
Yes.
my view. Probably there can be better ways of doing it. But I would, if I'm given a chance, that let's say I go back 30, 40 years, I would have done the same thing what I did. I wouldn't have done anything differently. I would have preferred to work in large organizations, multinationals, Indian large corporates, Indian large family businesses. I have done all that. And I have seen what works, what doesn't work. And then I did my own journey. I started my own journey, and I think I'm happy with what how it panned out. I
Yes.
wouldn't like to do it any other way.
Yeah, I think that has definitely helped because from those initial years, we have that exposure to all challenges. We know the things like how actually things works in the organization,
That's right.
and then
That's
that
right.
really helps in our entrepreneurship journey as well. Okay, so moving ahead, Sudeep, it won't be a justice to the podcast if we won't take the advice on financial things from your end, because I think you are the right person to talk on this matter of subject. So this time I'm going to ask a question in a different way. So not from the perspective of organization or big institutes. I just want to take your advice on financial things, especially for those young professional who are just 25 to 30 years old, and they has around 1 to 5 lakhs in savings, and their top priority is that the money shouldn't be lost, but at the same time inflation also should not eat that into it. So, what step by step roadmap would you give them? What should be their very first move for the investment? Keeping in mind that they have responsibility, they don't want to lose their money in any situation because they are somehow in a limit of saving as well. So, how they can invest in a proper manner to achieve success in their journey?
Well, Amit, my view is very clear here. If you are a young professional or you're young entrepreneur, or you are young, let's put it this way, and
Mm-hmm.
you have somewhere around 5 lakhs of savings, I think you need to take a bit of a risk.
Okay.
I'm not saying you take extraordinary risk,
Mm-hmm.
calculated risk, because anything which is not a fixed deposit with a PSU bank,
Mm-hmm.
you're technically carrying a risk. I'm not saying you're carrying a risk of losing the capital, but there can be a dip. There can be a dip. Even if you're buying bonds, if you're buying anything, if you buy gold, there can be some dips. So
Correct.
you have to, if you are not willing to only get PSU bank deposit returns, which is
Mm-hmm.
most of the time below inflation levels,
Yes.
you need to take a little bit of risk. And as a young professional, I don't think there is any harm because you have a long career ahead of you where you will earn. So
Correct.
today, if since you are asking me today, the best way to go about is multi-asset allocation fund. What
Okay.
does a multi-asset allocation fund? It's a mutual fund. And I'm assuming the individual you're talking about is not a market person. Let's say he's a developer,
Yes.
he's an engineer, he's a doctor, he's something like that, who is not very savvy in the financial market. For him, adopting a multi-asset allocation fund for investment is the best way. Why? Because multi-asset allocation fund has allocation in equity, allocation in debt securities, and allocation in commodities as well. Nowadays, they're also allocating some amount of the corpus in REITs and InvITs. So
Hmm.
there are multiple category of asset classes in that one fund. So people talk about diversifying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. These are the traditional
Yeah.
sayings. And you have to individually, earlier what we used to individually, we put some money in gold, some money in shares, some money in, bonds or fixed income securities. Now you have a type of a mutual fund, which is multi-asset allocation fund, and all large mutual funds have that category. Look
Yes.
at that category, put money in that category of funds because they do the allocation instead of you trying to do it and fine
Right.
tune it. They are expert fund managers who are sitting and doing it on your behalf. Go with that. I think that's the best way to put your money as things stand today. Going forward, new categories may emerge, new type of opportunities may emerge. If you want to do some homework and learn yourself, then you can have some other opportunities.
Correct.
But for a plain vanilla advice, I would say put in multi-asset allocation fund.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think this is gonna help so many other young professional because it is not now quite clear. Like if you are not taking the risk at that initial phase of your journey, then it might also impact because inflation is there, right? So you might face that challenge also. So if you take a calculated risk as you suggested, then there is a chance that you might grow. At least you beat those kind of inflation and other some similar kind of challenges. So I think that's a great advice for the young professionals. And now I think it's the because this is the topic I'm sure like there are plenty of things that we can discuss here, but we are short on time, so I just want to take one more question regarding the journey before we conclude the discussion. And this is regarding the work culture because you have worked closely with global markets like the US, Singapore, and many other countries. So sitting there and looking back at the Bharat, what's the one thing that make you proud to say that this is something that only Bharat can do, only Bharat can achieve? So what is your opinion on that?
Well, I think the amount of effort which the young professionals put in India is quite amazing. Internationally, I think it's a very, very regimental and regimented kind
Mhm.
of a work culture. Maybe you walk in at 8 o'clock, but by 5 you're out, irrespective of whatever happens. On the weekends, you just don't touch your phone. You don't do any work.
Yeah.
Whereas in India, the culture is different. If there's a work, people will be willing to spend time. And I work in Mumbai, and I can tell you that even the starting with the peon to the receptionist, if there's a work, they don't mind staying back. It's
Yes.
not that they're watching the clock and they will leave at the stroke of 5. They leave the office and run. Of course, there is a timing. They generally would like to go by that time. But if there is work, everybody will stay. You don't have to go and tell everybody that please stay, please stay.
Yes.
They know there is a work and they will stay. I think this is amazing, and this is a big difference. Of course, I think one more thing I must say, and it's probably not so good about India, is that we are still some distance away from creating ease of doing business. There are too
Okay.
many frictions. I think ease of doing business needs to improve. It's not, just a lip service. It
Hmm.
has to happen on ground. That is something which creates a lot of delay at our end.
Correct.
Something which can be done very quickly because of the bureaucracy, the red tapeism, and the kind of challenges we have because of the ease of doing business is not there so much. We are kind of pulled back. I
Hmm. Right.
wish these things are addressed and the real power of India is unleashed.
All right. Okay, so before we conclude the discussion, I just want to take one more question, and this is regarding the support system. Because as an influential figure, like you have touched so many life, right? There are so many people who are looking at your journey and learning a lot from your journey. So if we talk about your journey, so who were the key people around you at that time when you were in your initial days, and even in now? So how was that support system, and who were there to that really had a defining impact on your journey so far?
Well, my parents were definitely had a significant impact, and my mom had been a pillar of support behind me all the time. And of course, when I started my journey and I continued into my journey, my mom was there very much. We lost her in early 25. My wife has been also a rock of support behind me all the time. My son, to the extent he can cheer me up, he always does that. So we have a family which has always been behind me and supporting me in all stuff I do.
All right. So, yeah, thank you so much, Sudeep, for
Thank you.
joining us in this episode and for sharing so much information regarding the financial advice and also the work culture, especially for the young professional. I'm sure that they will resonate with the content that you shared here and it will really help them out. So, thank you once again for being a part of the show and for sharing your expertise.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much for having me.